Hello again. I don't think that any ordinary person in this country really believes that there are fewer foreigners entering Britain now than there have been in recent years. Successive governments have become increasingly tough in what they claim to be doing about immigration. For example, calling in the Navy to deal with small boats crossing the English Channel. But despite this rhetoric, the actual number of foreigners coming to live here is increasing at a dizzying rate. The latest trick is for students coming to this country ostensibly to study, who, once they've enrolled at their chosen college or university, reveal that they wish to have what are described as dependents come and join them here. This is so obviously a complete swindle that I really don't understand how anybody can take the business seriously. Students from Britain sometimes go to study at universities in other countries. An 18-year-old, for example, might be lucky enough to get a place at Harvard in America or the Sorbonne in Paris. Off they go to study for 3 years. Here's a simple question. How many of those students do viewers suppose have people back in this country who are dependent upon them financially? That is to say, family members who can't get by without the presence of those students and rely upon them for their accommodation and upkeep. The answer is, of course, none at all. They're students. Obviously, they haven't got any dependent family members. There might, I suppose, be the odd one or two students who have gone off to university abroad and left a wife and kids back in England and then want to send for them so they can join them in Paris or Massachusetts. It would be very rare, though. I think also the Americans might raise their eyebrows a little if a student from this country went to study at Harvard or Yale and as soon as they landed in America suddenly revealed that they wanted to bring their family back to come to join them in America. Now let's look at students coming to study in Britain. Out of 34,000 Nigerian students, how many dependent family members do you think they might have between them? Half a dozen? 50? Perhaps a few hundred? Why no, those 34,000 Nigerians have managed to bring in no fewer than 32,000 relatives who are wholly dependent upon them and have been granted visas to join the students in this country. They join the 24,916 dependent relatives of Indian students who have been given visas to live here. In total, foreign students who have been granted visas to study in the UK have somehow managed to bring in 81,089 family members to join them in this country in the year up to this June. Now, any normal person can see at once that this is a scam. What puzzles me is that if we can see it, is it possible that people at the Home Office, including the Home Secretary herself, do not realise this? I don't think that is possible. After all, in 2019, the number of dependent relatives brought in by students was fewer than 14,000. Now it has increased fivefold to over 80,000. It's such a flagrant example of an immigration racket that if the Home Office goes along with it, it can only mean that they secretly approve of such tricks and are happy to see 81,089 people coming to live here because they are supposedly altogether dependent upon students who have chosen to come and study in Britain. I mean, if those students really had such important family commitments, why didn't they study in Lagos or Delhi rather than London or Manchester? Whichever angle you look at it from, it doesn't make any sense other than as a swindle to bring more immigrants into our country. In the description to this video, I give a link which gives some information about this, including the figures that I've just quoted.